morning, good evening, good afternoon, and of course a good summer as we are into the heart of August to welcome you once again to the House That Happens from Shuey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, voted 4 times best dive bar in the GTA, but we'd like to think it's the best dive bar in Ontario because we like to keep the vibe alive. Hi, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And we want to get you through this deadening, humid, black sky, don't know what the weather is by the hour as we watch whether or not people are pro, minus, or indifferent about these things we call sports. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Just came back from Mexico a couple days ago, Cancun to be specific.
Oh, that's very good. I heard it got busier again. I'm glad you came back alive. No, that's just a joke. I don't want to screw with the Mexican tourism.
I mean, there was a lot of military guys with machine guns on the beach, which is just wild, especially compared to here.
Okay, but that's a good thing. They're thinking about your safety. Did you forget about them after a while?
On the triggers, you know?
I've been to Brazil. I get it. But I'm saying, the bottom line, didn't you stop noticing them after a while?
Well, I mean, no. When you're at the beach, you noticed.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's so out of the ordinary, especially here in Canada. When do you see guys like that here?
A good libertarian like you or thought, my soul is protected. I'm going to get on the airplane and get home safe.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? You weren't going to get raped by a female donkey or something. You were going to be all good. So, yeah, how was your trip?
I'm glad you said it was a female donkey.
Yeah, that's what I heard in Mexico. You know what I mean? Weird shit happens there. I don't know.
Oh, my God. No, it was a great time. Met a lot of interesting people, of course. A lot of Americans, which of course meant a lot of football talk.
I bet.
So I'd like to shout out Katie, Carrie, and Lauren. They were part of a group it was a bachelorette party from Kansas City. Lauren was the girl of honor there. Had a lot of fun.
Kansas City Chief fans?
Of course.
Okay,
of course.
Patrick Mahomes.
So when I bumped into Carrie and Katie first at the pool. And, you know, of course, I bring up football because it's easy. Conversation starter. And, some of the first words out of their mouths were how they hated Jackson and Brittany Mahomes.
Really?
Yes.
That was
almost right away.
And they're Kansas City fans.
Of course.
Oh, that's interesting because the homers are trying to protect their boy while bitch slapping the people that are making it irritating.
Yeah. and one of the comments they had about Jackson, which I thought was hilarious, so they were just like, just come out of the closet, buddy.
Oh!
Which I thought was funny because those are the conversations that me and my friends are having basically behind the scenes.
Whoa. And then this is how you are in Cancun, you run into Kansas City fans, and that is the respect that comes to Patrick Mahomes' significant people around him.
Well, I mean, his brother's in a little bit of legal trouble as well. Let's not forget.
We'll get to that later because we don't want to be bringing up indiscretions that aren't proven yet. Is that how we do it here at the House That Happens?
Yeah, I would say the algorithm's going to hurt me if I say a certain R word. So let's say it's grape. He's
okay.
He's had some grape allegations.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I understand it. Mm-hmm.
There's another bachelorette party group from Minnesota. For the life of me, I cannot remember the names of any of them, but I'm not sending them this, so I think it's okay. The striking thing about them was that there was one in the group who was from Minnesota, moved to Chicago, cheers for both the Vikings and the Bears.
Whoa, wait. You met a woman that cheers for the Vikings and the Bears?
And the Bears.
Does she have a pronoun? Come on. Really?
I believe they were she, her. But
you know what? If they happen to be listening, and I'm going to listen like young lady, you know who you are. Okay, so
she's not listening, so
well, if in the event any of her friends or someone remembers, the Milani guy, the House That Happens, this up, I'm going to tell you right now, you need help. Okay, there's one of those hotlines on a sports show, not the gambling one, the mental health one. You give a little call and say, I cheer for the Vikings and the Bears. That's just pathetic. And you know me, disciple of the Detroit Lions, that even sounds more putrid than you can possibly imagine.
Oh, I can't wait. I got to bring this up to Brady, too, just get his reaction.
Oh, yes, Brady in the house here at Chewy's, one of our faves. Yeah, but that's crazy, bro. Crazy. How did you look this woman in the eye and talk to her with any sense of I'm going to believe something that comes out of her mouth?
Well, I asked her straight up, I'm like, how does that work?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Correct question. Correct question. I get you.
Ran to a couple from Baltimore. Had a lot to say about the Ravens. Cannot stand Lamar Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, they're fed up with him.
He's an unpopular character, I hear, within the city himself. What if they say that they have somebody to replace him?
No, that wasn't. They're just
Okay, so here,
frustrated.
you know what? I wish I could have been there because last year was a little bit of management's fault because I think he would have played. If he was under contract last year, I think those last few games he was saying, well, you know, I got that.
Well, that's
soreness,
a two-way street, though, don't
there
you say?
Well, I'm still leaning because now it took him so long they had to go through all that drama to get all that contract. So what are the fans thinking? They're going to be pissed.
Of course.
Because he was your guy and he's only won one playoff game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to be antsy. But listen, if
he's got a regular season MVP, but like, so what, right?
Oh, well, you know what? If he gets him to the AFC Championship game, isn't that a good series?
Big if.
Okay, well, we're going to discuss that down the road. Continue.
And then lastly, the story I want to bring up is we ran into a couple. They're from Georgia. The husband was originally from New York, big Jets-Mets fan, so okay. I threw out the oof at him.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, and I didn't feel bad because the wife was really sloppy and dissed my mustache. So.
Oh, okay. I'll remember that too. You know, what kind of fandom is that? Doesn't she know about the house that happened? Shouldn't she give it more respect than that?
I don't think she would have remembered if I told her.
And you know, your stash is well groomed. It's very suitable. It adds character.
I got a lot of compliments on it, to be fair.
I think so too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As Milani, and if anyone hasn't seen Andrew yet, you will see it'll be perfect, what would you say, to accentuate the Milani clan.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you had a good time down there, and I'm not surprised. Did anyone talk about game? Oh, no, because they're all Americans. I wonder if the locals had any talk about, because, you know, one of the things about we had a discussion about the NFL, and one of the people that could keep Toronto from getting a team is Mexico. So I was wondering if there's any talk on the street about football. No, that's good. So Toronto's in the front, right?
Just a lot of soccer talk in Mexico.
Oh,
so, like on
okay.
The ESPN channels there, it's soccer, like League
I know.
City A,
okay.
all the leagues, all the leagues.
Yeah, I know. They can afford shorts and a ball. I got it. So that's all right. All right, okay. We'll get to that in a minute because I'm going to say something positive. But as we get our show going, I'd like to do a big shout out to my son's baseball team called Zero Bunts Given. They ended their season rather, how would you put it, unceremoniously last night, so they will no longer continue because the playoffs were not achievable. I believe that's how it worked out. Well, but to each and every one of them, I thought that they had an outstanding crew. And they may even let me try out for the team next year.
Oh, what position are you thinking about?
Mostly water boy, but I think I'm calling myself the instant upgrade. You know what I mean? I was teasing a lot of guys in the team, so there will actually be 3 of us in the over or close to 60 range on the team. But it's a great crew. Son, you did a great job. But I want to do a tiny shout out to Jenna Lee Freeman. And I always forget your middle name, Jenna. All you have to do is swing all winter, because you people that get frustrated with your ability not to play as good as you want means you don't practice enough. So if you want to play, you got to go in between. And I will see you this winter, and we'll work on your game, because if I'm going to come out of retirement, I want to be able to show you guys that I could hit that fence anytime I want. Correct?
I might have to join you at the batting cages.
Yes, that's a good idea. We'll go to the cages, work it out, and we'll do it. You know what I mean?
The House That Happens field trip. Let's go.
The House That Happens, and we will talk about our swings. How does that sound?
Sure.
Okay, before I start the show, as I usually like to start, a couple of things that came across my mind this wing of the world of sports, and I was just wondering, you know what, Andrew, you were thinking about him. You're relaxed. You're in Mexico. He's got a tan, people. He's looking sharp. I don't want to happen to ask him about anything personal that went on there, but it looked like he had a good time. But one of the things when we get in the world of sports is that sometimes you hear things that people say like, the guy took the money.
Sure.
He sold out. It's blood money. It's all this other stuff. Well, you know what I heard this week, or since you've been gone, and maybe I brought it up, but I really want to expand about it, is the guy I never say his right name, Nappy, whatever, for the front, Mbappe. How much flack he took from a lot of people in the hierarchy of sports for not taking that 1 year money from the Saudi Arabians and the Middle Eastern money. So tell me, how do we get this straight, buddy? If you take that, you get, remember all the guys that took the live money at first, and Ronaldo, he went to Saudi Arabia, and all these people chirped about that means our civil rights, and oh my God, the rest of the world, and there's a lot of dust. It'll get into your iPod.
The first one, there's a line from Moneyball. The first one through the wall always gets bloody, right?
Point well taken. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I want to shout out to a man that decided that his, for whatever reasons it could be, morally, religiously, he doesn't like that much sun. The flights are too long to get home. I think that we should encourage, why would you, you can't have both sides. You know what I'm getting at?
Sure.
So here at the House That Happens, we respect that. You know what I mean? That the guy, he didn't take it. So I'm going to say, I'm going to honor his belief. I don't want to be in his position because I know if you offer me that kind of money, I might have a different take on that matter.
Well, it's a completely different situation if they're offering it to guys like me and you.
Okay, yeah. First of all, why would they be offering us that kind of money in the first place?
That'd be my first question.
Okay, in any event, we're on the moral side of things when you're talking about that, because it brings me to another thing when you're talking about sports. I want to know what's your opinion on this. Is loyalty for losers?
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be?
Shouldn't be. Loyalty is a thing in sports that really should be celebrated. I love those guys that stick with one team their entire career, right? The Joe Sakic's, the Steve Yzermans,
I figured you were going to come that way, and I appreciate that immensely. But what happens when you go that loyalty is now costing you your salary cap or production in the lineup or
that's the thing. It's got to be a two-way street. There's got to be mutual respect there, right?
Okay, well, the reason I'm bringing it up right now is because we're going to have a question about that, about my favorite team and concerning Carey Price and loyalty. And where do we go in the future?
Carey Price is at the end of the road, don't you think?
I think he's never playing for the team again.
I don't think he's playing in the league again.
Okay,
period.
So there you go. So I'm just saying, how do we adjust what we do? Is it just going to go like the old salary cap, or we'll put him here, or we put him there, or you know what I mean? I want to make sure that my point being is that his loyalty is respected because he didn't go anywhere else, did he?
Well, who's going to take on that contract?
That's what everyone's going to say. But the last couple of years, that contract is going to be what? It's kind of been for us. And I think we got 2 years to go on it, don't we?
I believe so.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. But what made me bring it up is I heard somebody, it might have even been on one of the loyal guys on Overdrive, who said, no, man, in this day of salary caps and player movement and agents making bad deals, that loyalty is just for losers. And I don't want to say it was on the top of that list because would you consider LeBron James as a loyal type player? Or is he a mercenary?
I think he's kind of made his name as a mercenary, don't you think?
I don't know. I'm saying he went back to Cleveland to give him a win.
He got his one and it's okay, that's off my conscience. Off to L.A.
Okay, well, in any event, I'm going to be bringing this up because there'll be a few things coming up. I figure in the course of the season that things are going to happen, including 3 years ago, Dallas couldn't wait to get Ezekiel Elliott back into training camp because he was so freaking vital to the offense, and he's gone unceremoniously to your team in New England.
Yes, he has.
So I want to remember that Andrew has said loyalty is very important. Loyalty is for losers. He says it's not. Cruz is going to...
I think that's a harsh sentiment. Loyalties for losers.
I do too. That's why I brought it up. I figure at the House That Happens, we got to figure out where we stand on it. And I'm not going to say I'm sitting on the fence because I respect loyalty, but I also respect money.
Sure.
So you know what
Again,
I mean? So where's the balance? I'm just saying we'll bring it up for another time. It's just some things we'd like to throw out there.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Food for thought.
Food for thought. Okay. And as a food for thought, I'm not meaning to say what you've been doing because you just went to Mexico. You know what I mean? You got a job. I know that you're a social guy. You do some movie things. You got a lot going on. But in this dead time of summer, there are some things going on. So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. For example, how much World Cups women's soccer have you watched?
Since Canada's been eliminated, not much. I've been kind of following the tournament. I know who's in the final.
Okay, can I guess? I think it's England and Spain, right?
It is.
Okay, yeah, because
Spain's first appearance in the finals.
Okay, but they say they're going to take it home to England because I just seen a blob in the paper.
Oh my God, England always says that.
I know, but now they got the girls and it's like overblown. I like to see it. You know what? England, can I say this? England with the World Cup is like Toronto is with the Maple Leafs in the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
is
sure.
there a parallel?
Yeah, and no, if you're in there, well, like whatever. But if you're not in there, they're just like the most obnoxious people. I get that.
Okay. I didn't say it. You did. You're a Leaf fan. Remember that.
Well, I mean, the Leafs are like one of like 5. There's like 5 hockey fan bases. I would say that like if you're not in, you're just like these guys are the most annoying. It's like the Leafs, the Habs.
Habs, stop it.
Yes. Oh, you
Stop
guys.
it.
You guys still think it's the late 70s. Stop it.
Okay, wait. Well, you guys are in the 60s. I guess you
But
got the Dallas Cowboys.
We're not.
Okay.
We've been like beaten down. We're just annoying. Islanders, I would say.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I say
Especially,
Dallas Cowboys.
I'm saying hockey.
Oh, just hockey.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flyers are in there, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then probably tie between Winnipeg and Vancouver.
Only because they're the further west you get, it's easier to hate. I shouldn't say that. It's just a West Coast thing. You know what I'm saying? But in any event, I'm going to also ask you this. How many games have you watched in the WNBA this summer? I mean, we've got nothing but baseball. And people said you got nothing but baseball. That doesn't bother me. I watched baseball for like 8 hours the other day. Didn't bother me for 1 second with golf on. But I forgot to turn on the WNBA. So how much WNBA have you watched this season?
Oh, not much. I wish I could. I was like, this is the summer I'm going to try and get into
I remember that you
Yeah.
mentioning something along the way, and I said, you know what, I probably wouldn't catch nothing, maybe some playoffs, because my point being is
Playoffs
this.
are around the corner.
Any second now.
Yeah,
Any second
so
now.
that might be
okay.
the time to get into it.
Okay, well, my point is this, okay?
I know Vegas isn't first. That's it.
Okay, my point is this. When we talk about the value of these sports and how we keep them going, why the professional hockey, women's hockey leagues at its struggle here in Canada is this. I don't know how you generate your fan base big enough to generate money to keep your sports on this level. I think the WNBA has just an unbelievable level of gratitude, the NBA, for the amount of money that they pour into it to keep them alive. You know what I'm saying? Which brings me back to, which we'll be talking in the future when I talked about the World Cup of, Women's World Cup of Soccer, that the problems, issues in the organization and finances will be coming up again in the very near future, because now that the skin got tore off in not qualifying for the next round, people want answers.
Sure.
We'll be talking about this later at other times in the House That Happens. However, since we're on this great subject called soccer, we have something going on in North America that I'm not completely sold on just yet. But I have to admit that there's something a little different going on. In my lifetime, I've seen it, and that's the arrival of Lionel Messi. I don't even say their names right. But I know that.
Well, you don't say anyone's name right.
Okay, yeah, not even my own. Okay, that's why it's one word. It's just Cruz. It's easy to get to. It's kind of like Butch, no meaning, we'll get to it. However, Messi, 9 goals in 6 games?
He scored in every game.
He scored in every game, yeah, and he's got 9 in total, correct?
Yes.
Is that how it works? So he has also got his team to something called this League of Champions?
Yes.
Okay, so he hasn't even let me understand this correctly. He hasn't even played a regular season game in the MLS, has he?
I don't believe so.
However, in Philadelphia the other night, when they played, because that's where this championship game was played, the tickets were on average were $40-some. I think they went up to an average of $half $1,000.
Holy.
I could not believe that the switch in the pendulum, they were saying in Philadelphia alone that they have never seen a jump into. Now, a lot of things are jumping in price now because it's a new era. Just look at this whole, what's her name? The girl that's doing the 6th night in Toronto.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, like those phenomenons, like the tickets are going crazy. So obviously, yes, somebody can move the needle. But in the MLS, the tickets went up that much at this venue. And to go on one of those snub hubs or whatever, it wasn't like you're getting $15 for lawns for Mastodon and freaking Gojira. You know what I mean? It's costing you, what is it?
Well, I was just going to say, this is, for a lot of these people, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see the GOAT of soccer live.
And they say the ticket sales is continuing around the cities as he's going to go there, which I think
Why
is
not?
which is there. And I just want to know, what the Apple, because Apple has not released the numbers of the amount of subscribers they're going to get, but people are smelling it. And you were just in Mexico.
Yes.
And if they can only see Messi on Apple, I'm sure, and they've got that big guy that runs it.
Oh yeah, like I don't know if I mentioned this on the top of the show, but a lot of pink Miami Messi jerseys were spotted in Cancun. Put it that way.
That's pretty crazy, because I want to say one thing.
Or at least enough to be noticeable.
I think it's one thing, because that's just telling me that North America is satisfied with G League competition for a world-class player. Is that how this is working? Like, come on. Messi's playing against MLS. That just tells you what a superstar he is. Like, what level of soccer is MLS? I heard someone's like, it's like the G League in basketball. Someone said it's like the AHL. And I said, okay, that's pretty competitive. It's the AHL to be that dominant in that league there. So I don't want to throw...
Like, it's hard to say where the MLS is in terms of, like, the hierarchy of, like, soccer. Obviously, it's, like, nowhere near, like, you know, La Liga or Premier League or Serie A or any of those, right? But,
no. So where does it sit below there? The question is, Ronaldo's sniped off that whatever they're doing on the sand in the Middle East over there is better than what they're doing.
Messi's former teammate, Neymar, actually just signed in Saudi Arabia as well.
Oh, did he?
Al Hilal, yes. He... I believe is I can't remember the exact his salary, but he's getting, I know as part of the deal, he's getting a mansion with servants. He gets an 80,000 euro bonus for every team win, and 50,000 for every social media post promoting Saudi Arabia.
What?
Yes,
that's minor, right?
And I think
He's
it's
young.
I think it's like 100 mil is like his.
Oh, like that's your welcome to the jungle. Yeah. It's 100 mil.
Yeah.
Or 100 euros.
Euros, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay,
euros.
Okay. 100. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you 100 euros, and then we're just gonna back the truck up to your door, so you can't get out.
Oh yeah.
And he's not that old, is he?
No, he's not.
So you're gonna say that? I don't know. I've never seen. Have you ever seen whatever league that it is they play over there? Where do they play? In Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar?
Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Just Saudi Arabia they play?
It's a Saudi Arabian, their league.
But I thought they played in Qatar too, don't they?
Do they? That might be a separate
I don't know.
league.
I'm just thinking that. I wonder what the quality is.
Soccer, it's usually like you stay in your country. I mean, there could be like for example, in Premier League, there's a team in in Wales, but it's still the English Premier League.
Oh yeah, that's
right?
what I'm saying. So I'm wondering if there's a team like in Qatar, because they're close.
Possibly, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
The flight time to Bahrain, or was it called Bahrain, whatever you call them places. I don't know. Yeah, you got to spit a lot when you say those words. I'm just saying, I don't want to downplay the phenomenon that is Messi magic in North America as we speak. Okay, but what I'm saying is an old codger, and I don't want to throw any sand on it. Only thing is I've looked at it. I've seen some highlights that go, that's a nice goal. That's a nice goal. I'm just saying I want to see the next generation. Are they going to pull up their socks high enough to make this something like you say by 2030? Trudeau says there'll be only electric cars, and Messi will be the #1 sports star in North America. I don't see either one of them happening.
Well, we got to build the infrastructure, right? It's not going to happen right away.
You've been doing this since the 70s. I'm just saying this is...
But really in North America, the ball didn't really get to start rolling until 94 when the U.S. hosted the World Cup. That's when the ball really starts to get moving.
So you mean I wasn't understanding what was going on. So in 1994, I was over 30 by then. So I guess it took me my whole life. I wasn't paying attention to that thing called soccer. Oh yeah,
a lot of North Americans.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if your generations are going to pull it up, because I see a lot more people talking about the Premier League since I was younger.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying that I'm just going to be the old get off my lawn guy and saying that I don't score. Personally, I think it's a drag that we're so set in our ways this way. But if Messi scores 17 goals tomorrow night in that game, I probably won't watch the game after. But I hope you guys have give it enough oomph that we can continue to talking about it, because I am surprised at the level of soccer. You know what I mean? And
I have a couple things to say about that. So in terms of the development, it's really a grassroots problem, which in Canada I think
gotten better.
It has gotten a lot better. And I think a part of that is just like, at least from the Canadian perspective, like hockey's gotten so expensive.
Yes.
Where parents are just like anything else.
Yeah. Okay. I got it too.
So soccer is obviously very intriguing. You know, you just need a ball, really, and obviously cleats and shin pads and whatever. But
shorts and a ball. Come
exactly.
on.
And then for Messi, one thing I want to ask you is, do you think these other goalies are getting paid off to allow these goals in?
Oh, zing from the house it happens.
That's a question right on my dad's mouth, by the way.
Mr. Melania, I'm glad you had that take, because sometimes I wonder, because that goal that he scored at first one that night, that was Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, what was the goalie doing on that play? Having a smoke?
Oh, but that was off a set piece, though. That's a tough say. I'm thinking more about the one where it's like the rebound or like off the post and whatever. Like that.
And the goalie went one way and the ball the other way. I'm
Yeah.
not saying nothing. That one looked a little sketchy to me.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm not a soccer aficionado. But Mr. Melania, I will watch closer when Messi scores some of these goals. You know what I mean?
The set pieces I'm a little bit less skeptical on, because like you have the best of the best, like literally like crossing those corners. That's a tough shot even for like the best in Europe, right?
Okay.
So
Okay, I'll give it the benefit of a doubt. I'm just saying that I'm very, very impressed with how much the Messi magic is. It's like, a lot of the sports shows are talking about it.
All the sports shows.
Yeah,
Are we kidding?
But how come the Premier League wasn't big enough? Because is this just star driven now? That's why I say the sport won't go on, because once Messi's gone, who's going to go to the games? Then you're back to square one. See, Tom Brady's gone. What you going to do with Tom Brady's gone? Oh, look, we got Patrick Mahomes. Oh, LeBron James is gone. I mean, Michael Jordan's gone. Oh, look, we got LeBron James. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, Sidney Crosby's getting old. We got Connor McDavid. Oh, look who we just drafted.
You don't think they're just going to grab another guy from Europe, like another
Yeah, but
star?
then it becomes like it likes when you left your coffee on the table too long, you put it back in the microwave and you heat it up and then you drank it again. It doesn't taste quite as good when you put the fresh Baileys in. You know what I'm saying?
Well, very few things taste that good after being
in a microwave. Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
like pasta. That's like
that pasta, and if you do it right with your wraps, which I got to shout out to my wife, who's making me eat more wraps lately, which I'm loving, because if you just microwave them, sirloin tip. Wrap with hot pepper.
Okay.
And, yeah, they're amazing. But in any event, before I lose my train of thought, I'm just saying that I'm glad that the Messi thing has got to this level. I'm just saying that me personally, I don't run to the paper to see what's going on, and I hope that you guys can sustain it. Mm-hmm. That's the big part about sustaining it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because if you don't, then it's like I say, you take away the one guy, and it's you're back to where you started. You know what I mean? Which is a lot of the reason I'm thinking sometimes that the MMA, as opposed to boxing, is getting more popular, because there's more MMA fights and you have more names. But as it's getting saturated now, who are these names that we're going to get like that would really draw us there?
That's the thing, but that's a big problem with UFC right now. There's no like really. Actually, me and my friends were having a conversation just about this in Mexico.
Wow.
We're like, who are the stars?
Yeah, because you watered it down. You watered it up. But
I wouldn't even say that. Just like whatever. They had like Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor.
McGregor was there, yeah, but Ronda Rousey was a fraud. You know, at the beginning, like, I'm glad that she got her
yeah,
ass
but she was
kicked.
a name and a personality.
I like the other one that kicked her ass. The one that kicked her ass too. What's the Nunes girl now, or whatever her name is?
Nunes?
Yeah.
Oh, she's
a
sick.
beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's a really good fighter. You know that. But this just gives me a moment to, before we continue here, just to say we should have a shout out to Mr. Terrence Crawford, who is now pound for pound the best fighter. He ass kicked this Spence guy in that big fight. Remember I said we were not there and nobody ever talks about it? And the fight went by because it was anticlimactic, because he kicked his ass so badly.
What
that
round?
Ninth round stopped it, but he's got Spencer's got to another fight in the contract if they exercise it, but they got to exercise it by the end of the year, so to speak, kind of deal. And everyone's going, who's going to watch this fight? He just got destroyed. So my point being is that you got Messi taking a sport to this level. Terrence Crawford is going to turn out to be one of the greatest welterweight boxers of all time, in a level of Sugar Ray, of Tommy Hearns, of Hagler, of the old Sugar Ray Robinson. But nobody knows him because it took so long for those personalities. They let it. You know how boxing didn't let them fight? Oh, we'll wait. People forgot, and where you are not today. So that's why you get Messi magic, because he's a personality around the world.
Yes.
I think that has more to do with it. It's more him than the sport or anything. And to do what he's doing, how come we're not hearing about Ronaldo scoring 3 goals in one game in this Saudi league?
Because where can you watch it?
I wouldn't watch it anyway.
No one knows, and no one, even if you want to watch it, no one would know. Like, is it on the zone? I don't think so.
That's true too.
Maybe like Fubo
but
or something.
Messi, I don't even know that. I guess I don't know enough. That's just too much for me. But Messi's getting seen, and they're watching him in Europe. People are paying attention.
Apple
Europe.
TV is a big streaming service.
Oh, that's true too. That's probably a lot. Back to the money, as we were saying, like the whole 9 yards. But speaking of money and the ridiculous things of sports, we were both away.
Now, I actually want to tie a little bit of soccer talk to Toronto. Did you hear who interviewed for the TFC head coaching job?
No, I didn't.
John Herdman, coach of the men's national team.
Really?
Yes. That's the word on the street.
Really?
Yes.
Do you think that he's, what were you saying, A-list candidate?
I would say he's a very good candidate. I mean,
He did some good for our national team.
Men's and women's, sir.
When you come to think about it.
I think that'd be a welcome change, you know?
Well, considering the condition of the Toronto FC, you know what I mean? You got a good point there. You know what I'm saying? Which is a perfect chance we should be segueing into the most successful team in the city, which we have yet to bring up today.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We'd be remiss not to bring up the Toronto Argonauts.
The
7-1 Toronto Argonauts.
Excellent game from Mr. Chad Kelly the other day, too. He got under duress a few times. I'm finding we had an interesting conversation about the quality of play to the NFL, to the CFL, which I shouldn't be brokered. We should just be happy that we're playing CFL here in Toronto. The team's very successful.
Yes, as we're reminded by Serge on our NFL episode, it's just a different game.
Yes, it is. And if you please have a chance, I hope we must send that rant to the CFL because they would absolutely endorse Chewy's Bar and Grill and Serge, which we now know is one of the official tailgate party bars in Toronto.
Is that right?
Yes, it is. And they've had
awesome.
Pinball Wizard's been here. The GM's been here. A few of the players have been here. So if you're looking for a great time tailgating for the Toronto Argonauts, come right here to Chewy's Bar and Grill. Correct, Amundo?
That's right. And before I forget, we have a regular listener in Virginia. How awesome is that?
Off the charts. Okay, now I knew you were going to tell me this, so the only thing I can say about Virginia is Ralph Sampson. How's that?
Okay, that's good enough.
And Virginia Tech. How's that? Hey, listen, tell your friends, tell your family we got a lot more because I know there's some people that should also be in Maryland and West Virginia.
Sure.
And what is it? Georgia's close by. Thanks for listening. That's for sure.
That's the most important thing. We
Number
appreciate
one,
you.
We appreciate the listening. And speaking of listening, I don't think that James Harden's been listening to what's going on in the real world. It must be some kind of fantasy he's having in his head to be, what's this man doing? As we're getting closer and closer to the start of the NBA season, too, it's coming over. You were away when this whole Harden thing went down,
yes,
I believe, right?
This came up when I was gone, but I've been following it on social media, and I thought I missed something. I'm like, what? Like, where's this coming from?
First of all,
so I guess we should explain the situation.
Go ahead.
He was in China.
China,
correct?
yes.
He was doing a little event there with he's Nike or Adidas. I always forget.
I think it's Adidas.
Adidas.
Part of his shoe deal is he goes to China and
he's huge there.
And he's huge. Yes, he's huge. Yes.
And he basically says Daryl Morey's a liar. And I'm never going to play for one of his teams again. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the essence of it.
So wait a second. Last time I checked, he plays for the Philadelphia 76ers. And last time I checked, Daryl Morey is the
general manager or president. I can't remember which, but it doesn't matter.
Of the Philadelphia 76ers,
yes.
right? So
and he was his GM in Houston as well, where it was thought that their relationship was so strong, and that's the reason why he came to Philadelphia in the first place, right?
As the world turns. Okay, I got that. So I'm just going to look at
it. Oh, it's the soap opera. Oh, it's the NBA. What are we talking about? Of course it is.
Continue. Yes. Hey, no, that's the other one. But anyways, that's better music. My point is this. You know what it's getting to a point now is, listen, James Harden, if you're listening to us, and I know you do because you got nothing better to do than listen to The House That Happens, is, buddy, look at this, okay? You were an MVP. You're a guy that couldn't let the ball out of your hands. You're a guy that was so polarizing that you got your team to the conference championships a couple times, and you blew it when you got there. Let's go back. We don't have to bring up the numbers. We do not want to embarrass you, James Harden.
Well, everyone remembers that 3-2 series lead.
Oh, you got it. And then how did you play in those last 2 games?
Ugh.
Okay, that's going to be nicely. So now let's just put it this way. Not only have you done that, you have forced your way out of 2 teams because you don't like the general coherent with which you...
Arguably, like, 3 or 4.
Okay, but no, he's a free agent when he left OKC, so that's different.
No, he was traded.
Or traded, whatever the case may be.
But a lot of people thought that he was putting pressure on management.
Whatever the case may be, we're going to say, we'll just say the 2 obvious ones are just in our face right now.
Sure.
Okay, so now here's what happens. You've chased 2 people out of town. Made 2 people chased you out of town. You're demanding another trade when your only option was to take that $36 million player buy-in because nobody was giving you that money, brother. You know what I'm saying? So now what you're doing is you're crying your way out because you think that another team is going to come and kiss your sorry ass for more guaranteed money.
I wouldn't be so sure, bud.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think, first of all, at 34 years old, when people remember not your MVP, but your massive playoff failures, who's going to, like, buddy, do you look in the mirror? Like, who is your...
Especially his play of his late.
Oh, that's
He's not the player he used to be.
Of course not. Like, who were your agent? Didn't you look in the mirror? Mirror on the wall. Who is the dumbest guy in the room of all? James, it's you. Look at what you're doing lately.
Well,
you
James
think
and the people in his corner are obviously
idiots.
idiots.
I'm saying that this is just so brutal. So I'm starting to believe this. And I heard a little tidbit about it, and I'm gonna start saying this too. There is another major star in the NBA who I happen to like a lot better than I like Harden, who is also trying to get his way out of his city after many years of being in one place where we say...
That's right.
He is actually questioning something that we said early when you think about it and that is loyalty for losers. Okay, let's not say that in Damian Lillard in the same sentence, okay? So maybe is this the general manager is finally pushing back and saying to some of these guys, hey, I want out of here. Get me out of here quick as I can. I want an Uber. I want a first-class freaking flight ticket, and I want to go to Miami.
Well, you should have told the owners to be a little harder during the CBA negotiations maybe then.
And it's already been signed.
Exactly.
So I'm going. I you know what I mean. Do you think it's got to be a big of a pushback now? Because it's got to stop somewhere.
I don't know. It seems like it's going to be futile, don't you think?
I don't know. Like they could hold out on Harden, and what's what Harden's going to say? He said he's going to hold out. Okay, so if you hold out, guess what? You know how much money you're going to lose? First of all, he's never going to get that money back.
No.
Then he's going to have to go to the CBA because how's the union going to back you? Like, who's held out, not gone to a camp in the NBA since when? Since what?
Under contract.
Under contract. That's what I'm talking about. Under contract.
Can the team can sue him for that too, can't they?
Oh, it's going to be bad. James Harden Brown or whatever that song is. But I'm saying this is one of the most ridiculous things I've heard in sports in a long time because Harden, you made the bed that you're going to lie in now, man. I wouldn't sign him. But here is the...
Oh, he's looking toxic right now.
Oh, he's always been looking toxic. But people...
Super toxic then, or extra toxic.
Okay, so whatever's going on down here, let's remember this. 80 to 90% of all trades made with these major teams, the team that traded that guy got the worst end of the deal. Yeah. That's 80, 90% of the time. So you're talking trading Kevin Durant. You're talking trading a LeBron. You're talking about trading a Shaq. You're talking about whoever.
Oh, that's when Harden got traded from OKC. What did OKC get back?
I think they got a couple of old jerseys and a signed autograph ball by Walt Frazier.
Maybe a pair of socks, too.
I think the socks were the throw-in. I'm not really sure. So I'm saying no. But there's a better way to look at this situation, Mr. McClanahan, and you know where I'm going with this because there is a general manager in the front row that's sticking his nose into the air of James Harden just to get a scent. Okay? And you know who this general manager is, don't you?
Oh, well, I mean, you told us during our meeting today. So
what city does he live in? What team is this?
I believe it's our city and our team.
Okay, wait. So, no, that's okay. Deal's over. Messiah, if you ever listen to me right now, the deal is officially over. Wait.
Hold on. We have our own toxic problem here in Toronto, though.
Okay, so what are you going to do? Now, okay, here's the word on the street. So let's take a look at this. We should have traded Siakam already, in my opinion. I've been on the air. I already said. So he's signed in now.
Worked on.
Oh, but he's being a bitch now because he signed in. And I love Toronto, but I'll only get traded to these teams. I won't sign. Okay, that's okay, which is another one of these NBA players getting too much juice bullshit, okay? And now someone says that there's no way when you get a damaged good like Harden, you will not give up a Barnes and an Obi or a Siakam for him. No way, that way because he's damaged goods. These guys are all there, and you know what? The only good thing is I say is Masai.
Maybe throw Gary Trent.
Sure, all right, and his car and his parking attendant, get him out of here. But I'm saying, is this a way that maybe Masai is going to get Atlanta to juice their deal because they've been talking about their interest? That's just the Crew's take on it. I'm saying maybe that's just you're sticking your nose here because New York's a little bit interested in a shooter like Siakam, okay? So does this mean that Masai's very sly in thinking? Now, if there's some way
3D chess,
maybe, we don't know. But I mean, you know where I'm going with this? Because the last time, and let's go somewhere. First of all, this is no Kawhi. There's no Kawhi. This is not even in the same galaxy. We got Kawhi coming off an injury, but he was just close to being an MVP in San Antonio for winning the championship there, and people weren't trusting him because it was a health issue, and it was the end of his contract, so let's just see if we can help him. So at the same time, it is at the end of Harden's contract, so he could be coming off the books next year too, so if it fails. You know what I mean? But we shouldn't give up anything for him. It should be drafts money, whatever it happens to, because he's damaged good. Agreed?
Sure.
But anyways, our main thing with the House That Happens says, you know what, Harden, we hope that you rot. You know what I mean? Nothing against the guy personally, but it's got to change because we, the fans, pay for it. You know what I'm saying in the long run?
Sure.
Okay, now speaking of we, the fans, and what we pay for, we should also be talking about how much pay is being done to these rookie quarterbacks who are going to be thrown into the Wolves in the NFL as they have been doing for no time ever in my life. You know what I'm saying here, bro?
So I believe there's 3 rookie quarterbacks set to start this season.
I don't know if there's all been acclaimed, but I just want to cut to the chase on the first one that matters here, and I might have screwed up on my fantasy
Richardson
league.
was the big announcement for the Colts.
Oh, out of the box. Now, wait a second here. Here's what I'm going to say now. When you do something like this, is this the chance that you could just be like doing something that's... Okay, if the guy comes out and he's a Peyton Manning or something like that, you're going to get it here. But here's what's going to say this. In the last few years, I've seen this more than ever. In Peyton Manning's day, go back and I'm going to hear how many rookie quarterbacks were drafted that year and how many started right away. Probably Peyton and the only one that was here. So we're starting to do it in the last few years, and look what's happening. Let's look at some of the roadkill. I'm not going to watch the documentary because he's a rich kid and I don't know what went on. So Johnny Football, what's he doing lately? Okay, enough said. If you ever hear of a guy named Ryan Leaf, well, that's way back. Okay, we got a Ryan Leaf. Okay, now we got the carcasses around the league. Like, first of all, Kyler Murray is injured. Josh Rosen, where's he?
Haven't seen him.
Okay, Sam Darnold is third on the depth chart for who? And Michael White is now the backup. No, I'm not singing in a Zeppelin tribute band here in the city, not that Michael White. But now the backup for one Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm getting at here, right, is that this Tyler Richardson guy for the Indianapolis...
Not Mike White. It's, what's his name? Zach something, isn't it?
Zach White? I don't know. Whatever the guy in New York is. He's still there.
I watched some of Hard Knocks. I should have remembered this. I caught some of it down in Mexico. They had it on.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
That's on HBO, right?
Yeah, but I guess ESPN was showing it in Mexico. So.
Oh, okay. Whatever the case may be. What I'm getting at is that some of these great talents that they throw out there too quickly get eaten up and we never see them again. So I'm really curious at this time. Like, we know that the Bryce Young and the C.J. Stroud, where they coming from and where they are. But this the Hooper guy from Tennessee, we're not showing. The Levi guy who got drafted later, they're not starting yet. I'm saying that there has to be some kind of correlation to that. If you let the guy breathe a little bit, like Patrick Mahomes didn't play immediately, okay?
Aaron Rodgers of guys didn't.
Okay,
Eli Manning kind of sat on the bench.
Okay, there you go.
Right?
Thank you very much. So what is your process now? What gets me in this is, okay, not only this Richardson guy, did you see him at the Combine? I seen him play for Florida. I liked him here then. But let's cut to the chase here. How many snaps did this guy take in college?
Oh, not that many.
Okay. Cam Newton was the closest, but Cam Newton nearly played double the games.
Yeah.
It wasn't that Cam Newton played double the games of this guy.
Sure.
Okay, and Cam Newton came in, and he was a storm in the league, and I believe that this guy is going to be that kind of not because of his size. He's a big boy who can gallop and throw. Okay, he's not very good with his accuracy yet, and how much coverage does he know to learn in the NFL that they can just give it to him? I'm hoping he's succeeding. You know what I'm saying, Andrew? I don't want to be the guy that pisses on this Richardson's guy's parade because I love these kind of quarterbacks. I love the way they play, but can't we just give them a little breathing room?
Yeah. No, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the idea is that it's supposed to be like an investment in the future that you're playing these guys right away, but then like you said,
RG3?
Exactly. It ends up hurting these guys in the long. But like Richardson, like he's phenomenal, like athletically. Like he's a specimen, right?
Oh yeah,
he could be the exception to the rule here. I'm more worried about a guy like Bryce Young.
Oh, you know why I'm worried about
He's the number one pick. I understand there's probably a lot of organizational pressure in there to get him in there right away.
I agree.
But he's, what, 5'10", I believe?
Well, then if you're going to get hit at 5'10" today, you're going to get hit at 5'10" in 2 years from now. That's what people say. But I'm looking at it this way. I'm talking about learning the coverages so you don't get blindsided.
Exactly.
You know where to dump off. Now, I do understand that the way that Carolina is designed with the veterans, like they have no true number one. No. But they bring DJ Shark. They got that tight end guy that they drafted for the Hurst guy and whatever. And they got, I forgot, a couple other supplementary pieces that, so he can be set up so that he's not gonna have to go bombing it downfield to win the game. Mm-hmm. Like he can be they don't want to call him a game manager because he's there for, you don't call your number one overall pick a game manager.
No, that's bad news.
But they're going to make him be a game manager to learn the game. You know what I'm saying? Which is not a bad thing. So that's not all on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. And I don't want to say this too loud because fantasy football friends that I'm the league I'm in, and no, we'll make no rules until the game we get there, guys. I'll mention at the end of the show. But in any event, what I'm getting at is that if you take this guy, like I should have saying, how is he like in a sorry, get confused here. If you were to take him high in the fantasy list, okay, and he gets whacked out, what are you going to say? Is he really ready for the game, or do you sit him on the bench in a league that we have? But that's just fantasy talk when he had come up. The real deal when it comes in real life is we've had the RG3s who got hurt, and he was just as dynamic as this Tyler Richardson guy. Remember RG3?
Yeah, but he was very thin.
This guy's big and strong, right? Well, he's
more Cam Newton, more in that mold.
What do you think about the C.J. Stroud guy down in Texas, down in Houston? You know what I mean? For the Texans, you know what I mean? Like they have a weak O line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then there's the guy, the Hooper guy. Where's he going again? He's getting some rave reviews where he's going, and he was drafted I forget in the second round. The guy from Tennessee, and he wasn't playing no pro offense. I'm just saying is that. Part of this is because, the salary cap that you're talking about, you got these guys under the contract. And every time I turn on, I hear a sports show, I hear, this is your window to win, because eventually when you pay your quarterback, you got to pay everybody else, and you won't have the O-line, and this guy's not going to do it. And
I mean, Kansas City's kind of throwing that formula out the window, don't you think?
Well, because Mahomes has pulled back on his contract, and they keep rotating guys pretty quickly. Like who went out the door there? Tyreek Hill isn't here anymore, and Kareem Hunt, who was one of the original guys back there, he's trying to get a job as we speak. They got that kid, Isaiah. Oh, what's his name? He's only Pacheco, yeah, and he's only in his second year, so they can run him into the ground like they do all running back. So they've got a clever formula. What I've noticed is Kansas City has done more is they paid more for their O-linemen.
I think that's a smart move.
Oh, I do too. Over time, because
you have a good O-line, your running game's generally going to be strong as well, right?
Agreed. And not only that, the first thing is you're protecting your number one asset, which is
quarterback.
Your quarterback. So I'm going, how can you protect your asset when he's a rookie and he doesn't know the game and you got a weak O-line? Just saying.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. So here's my call of the year, and I don't want to say this. That's why I got confused, because I have smoked a little bit this game, and it has affected my thought patterns during the course of the game. My call is Jordan Love is going to be the sleeper quarterback of the year, because he's had time. He had the big-time talent, and he sat on the bench for 3 years, and he watched Aaron Rodgers, and that's the formula for a successful quarterback. So I shouldn't say it too loud, but when I'm in my fantasy...
I'm surprised, especially considering you're a Lions guy, that you're...
I have to say it because
for
I can't.
The Packers boy here.
I hope he doesn't, but I'm saying I can't give you a formula and then turn around and see it in my face and say, oh, I better ignore it over here because it's in my division.
Have you seen enough from Jordan Love to really say that he can be that guy, though? Because even like in the small spurts,
was Jared Goff 3 years with what's his name in the Rams at development? Was that development man for Goff? Look at him in Detroit now. He's poised. He does not look like the quarterback he was in LA.
That's fair.
And not only that, he was already in a Super Bowl.
Yes.
He was already in a Super Bowl. He looks more poised in Detroit now than he's ever looked in the Rams. So was that his development time? Which what's the coach of the Rams' name? I forget his name. The coach.
McVay.
Yeah, McVay. Sean McVay, thank you for the 3 years of development for our Detroit Lions. You know what I'm saying? Because he seems to be a more complete quarterback now. You know, and I don't want to bring it up because that's just me knocking wood because I'm a disciple of Detroit Lion and the hype's been a little bit too loud on them right now, but we'll get to that later. In any event, you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that these rookie quarterbacks are successful, but, and nothing good comes after but. I think they're pushing them a little bit too quickly. Okay, first of all, the reason I say they're pushing quickly is, first of all, we got to worry about their size. Can they get away? They've never taken a hit in the NFL. I'm wishing them all luck, and I'm hoping Tyler Richardson's an amazing, and I sometimes wish I didn't give up my number 1 overall draft pick now because I could have had him forever. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know what I'm getting at? There's a couple other things that are kind of weird in the NFL right now. What do you think of some of the free agent running backs that are still sitting around that we were talking about? Remember we were saying, like, where is it going? Like, Delvin Cook did end up going to the Jets.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay, but for less money than he wanted to take.
Well, that's like every other running back right now, basically.
What do you think about, I mentioned it earlier, about your buddy now, Ezekiel Elliott, who was everything in remember just a few years ago in Dallas at camp, this time the scream was, we got to sign Ezekiel. You know what I mean? His loyalty for losers.
Well, I'm happy he's a Patriot.
I bet you were, and I bet you're going to use him.
And Stevenson as our running backs.
Oh, and an interesting point came up. You know that Ezekiel Elliott is one of the best blocking running backs in the NFL. You don't think Bill Belichick is chopping his lips at a guy like this? I predict that.
And we have a real offensive coordinator this year, too, so look at that.
I believe that Ezekiel Elliott will catch more balls. That's going to be, I should keep that for the thing. One of my takes is going to be, Ezekiel Elliott is going to catch more footballs this year than any year in his career.
Say that again. You said that a little quiet.
Ezekiel Elliott will have more receptions as a running back as any season in his career.
I love it. Is Mac Jones going to be able to find him, though?
No, Mac Jones is going to be okay because you guys are building on. Guys, you got Stevenson, and he didn't run well last year because, you know what, Belichick's old school. He defines it. Have defense and an O-line.
Yeah.
You start with those two elements, you know what I mean? And New England's got them both.
It's been their bread and butter forever.
But you're in a tough division this year. You're in a tough division.
We're going to see there. It's gotten tough.
You know what I mean? I'm still saying I think it's sad. Like Kareem Hunt, like he's just signed with the New Orleans now. Look who we're talking about here. And Jonathan Taylor is still getting treated like last week's newspaper in Indianapolis, even though he is back in camp.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows you missed the snaps. That's going to affect your play.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? And missing
playing
money.
Catch up.
Yeah. And then what about the money part of the game? Big shout out to the running backs in the NFL. And I do think that in the near future that we should have a show because it's ending that about what the House That Happens has to say about their 10 greatest running backs of all time. I think that should be in the show in the future, don't you think?
I definitely do think so.
We may have guests at that time. You will go on there. But now that we're this far into the show, we've saved everything else for the, what do you want to call it, the elephant in the room, all the stuff that's going on that makes summer happen because it's the only thing that's going on. And we've taken all this time to talk about all these other things when really what I want to talk about is MLB and the baseball playoffs are coming, bro.
We are 3/4 of the way through the season.
We got lots to talk about here.
Pennant Chase, Pennant Fever is almost officially on, I'd say.
Okay, so before we talk about anything, full disclosure right now, I want to buy a Kikichi jersey. Immediately, I want to say that when I say him, I'm going to buy him his favorite noodles or whatever that is the dish that they say he eats. I'm going to take him out for a beer. I'm going to ask him if there's any live band I could turn him on to and say sorry for all the times I said, has this guy gone to the bullpen yet?
I just want to give him a big sloppy kiss right now, though he's been pitching so well.
Oh, my God. You see, and you know what, still, though, and we're going to get to this in a minute. We said earlier that the Toronto Blue Jays were not going to make the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
However...
There's a back door.
There definitely is.
There is a back door. So, as we speak today...
We're just going to get right to the elephant in the room then?
First of all, what do you think of the Toronto Blue Jays of late? They're still the nonsense team that we think that they are.
They're holding ground.
Okay. And
that's the best I can say about them.
So
I mean, they're like... Kikuchi's been fantastic.
Oh, he's unbelievable. And you know what? But I'm still saying we got 4 number 2s because look what our number 1 did last night.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's going to do that every 6 or 7 starts.
Sure.
And our
Just
number
pray he doesn't do that in the playoffs.
Well, we got to line him, Barrios, and Bassett up, who all can do that on a given day. That's what worries me. And Kikuchi's going to be our star then. I want a big shout out to Ryu for pitching as well as he does. And listen, Alex, we miss you, but I think that you're not coming back up for the rest of the year.
No, he's done.
Or he can be a September call-up.
I wouldn't use him on him because you only have 2 now. Remember?
Okay, then we can't use it. So, Alex, I'm really sorry that this season fell apart for you. So go down to the minors. And all you got to do is get in shape. As everyone knows that he hasn't lost velocity. He hasn't lost all the things that's made him a Noah. What his loss is his mechanics due to his weight. Yeah, it's control due to his weight. Okay, come on. We all know it. So let's go down there. But now we can't be wasting time on Alex Manoah because...
Now, I want to ask you, if someone had sent to you before the season, Manoah's going to have... Okay,
no.
Manoah's going to have this garbage season, yet the Jays are going to have 4 pitchers in the top 17 in ERA.
No, and I wouldn't even. Okay, I'm glad you were going down this road because we're going to talk about pitching for
in
a
the
second.
American League.
If you had told me that Vladdy would be whatever Vladdy's been this year, and he hasn't been bad.
It's been a kind of repeat of last season, which I was hoping.
Okay, maybe this is him for his career. We don't know. He's still going to drive in 100 RBIs. He's still going to hit 30. His batting average should be higher. He's still got a hell of a lot of walks. Okay, but the 2 boogies and whatever you want to call them that I've been bitching about all season it's still the same. When are we going to have a regular lineup? And number 2, when are these guys going to learn to hit? Now, I want to give shout out to Varsho the other night for hitting the big home run at a time in the game when we needed a big home run from a punch power hitter from the left side of the plate because we have none. And I heard all these guys say about that righty lineup that we're supposed to have. All you morons that are supposed to be analysts and know everything about baseball, you're wrong. We needed a left-handed power hitter. And that could play some defense at any position. And what do? We went out and got some guy that can't hit a lick that can play shortstop when we got 6 different guys playing infield.
Yes, his name is DeJong, and he's our starting shortstop while Bo's out.
Didn't you think that was disrespectful for putting them there so much when we had Espinal? Maybe we shouldn't even have traded for this guy now. I understood we had Shears, but look at Muirfield this week said he'd get a gold glove if you left him there every day at second base. And every time I look at second base, Biggio's standing there.
Biggio's been having a hot bat, though, so you got to put him in the lineup.
Okay, I agree. But is he a second baseman? No, because he's going to make an error in the outfield. And guess what happened the other night? For every one of those great plays that Muirfield played, you see him misplay the ball last night?
Yes.
Okay.
Making that basket catch.
I thought, I'm talking, you know what? I'll take Gurriel's defense back just to have his bat in the lineup. So sorry, Lourdes Gurriel, when you come back, I used to make fun of your defense. I'd take his defense right now because I've seen a lot of his defense in the last few games. However, let's just put things into context.
What do you mean you've seen his defense a lot? What does that mean?
I've seen like the play that Muirfield made last night.
Oh, like you're saying for the replacements of the Blue Jays.
I've seen a few rather auspicious plays by supposedly better defenders.
No, I can't believe I'm saying this, like especially like what I thought before the season, but I'd much rather have Muirfield at second base than at left field. And
I'd rather have him at left field than second base.
Merrifield?
Yes, I don't think he's a great second base. Okay, maybe we need to see him.
I think he's a worse left fielder.
Okay, good. Then he says he's a better second baseman. Is that why that to cover up?
I don't know about the Gold Glove, but I believe he's a better second baseman than he is.
Okay, so here's my thing then. Put him there for 50 games straight. Every other team is getting their lineups there, which we're going to go through in a minute. I mean,
well, the team's obviously not built that way. I mean, we're going to do it.
Okay, so in what way are we built? Okay, now we're going to get to why they're built because some important things I've talked about all year, and we're going to get to them in a second. I'm saying this. The Toronto Blue Jays they've got 40 games left. Okay, Bo's coming back. I think that Bo better come back and hit right away because we've had a modicum of hitting. But look at the other night. We won 2-1.
Yeah,
Why?
I heard he's going to start in shortstop tonight in AAA.
Yeah, okay.
He DH'd yesterday.
And
he had a single and a double. He had a good game.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's going to be good. But listen, a guy throws the ball and hits Biggio's in the foot and we win. Oh, gee, that's good offense. That's going to get us in the playoffs right here. Can you hit anybody else's foot in the 8th inning with the bases loaded? Is that a scoring play? Stop it. Come on. You can't hit. If this team ain't hit, we're going nowhere. That was brutal. And how many games have we had? Like, we're going to go to this, okay? First of all, let's just say this. Let's look around. Who's going to win what? Like, who are the playoff contenders right now? Let's go around the league, okay? Minnesota looks like they're going to win their division, right?
Yeah, but they're going nowhere in the playoffs.
Hold your horses. Just going to say that. So we're going to say that. We got a dogfight out west. I think the Houston's going to chase down Texas.
Oh, you're changing your tune there. You were talking a little bit of smack about the Astros early on. I had to defend the big bad guys.
Okay, we're going to get to that, okay? So we're going to get to that, and we know what's going on in the American League East. And I'm still predicting right now that Tampa Bay is going to make the playoffs. Now, if you move over to the National League for a minute, you're going to see that.
You think Tampa Bay is going to make it?
No, I don't think they're going to make it because Seattle's coming. We're going to talk to them in a minute. But anyways.
Surging Seattle.
Way back at the beginning of the season, I said the most important stat at the end of the season, and you have disqualified it during the middle of the season because it wasn't working out quite the way that we thought it would, is I said, the cream of the crop will rise, and beside them will be a little stat called quality start.
Have you looked at the quality starts of all 30 teams?
I'm about to say, let's have a little discussion about what's going on with the teams that are now. There's some anomalies, and we still got 40 games to go.
It's not quite
It's
linear.
not quite. It's okay, but I'm gonna get into this. The number one team in the Central Division is the Minnesota Twins.
A weak division, but yes.
Still have 61 quality starts. By my guesstimation, is number one in baseball. Number one team with quality starts in baseball. Sure. And what place are they in?
They are in first.
Okay,
but
here
who are they pitching against?
We're going to get to this in a minute. We're going to say this. Who is leading the Central Division? I believe it is the Milwaukee Brewers have climbed up, right?
Yes.
And who has chased down a spot right behind him out of nowhere?
The Cubs.
Okay, look at this. The Brewers and the Cubs, 50-some quality starts, which puts them in the top 10 easily in baseball. And where are they? Either one of those teams could win the division, and both of them right now are in the playoffs in a quality start because our good team Cincinnati, who is really having a good time there going, they only have 35 quality starts, so I don't think they're going to make it. Oh, by the way, here's what we should also be looking at. Minnesota has a 3.92 team ERA. The Brewers are 4, which is respectable. The Cubs is 4.20, but then they were such a brutal start if you're going from the second half on. They've got one of the best team ERAs.
I think you need to put your phone on silent.
Oh, yeah. I got a brand new phone, people, and I don't know why it's doing that. I got to turn it off. But anyway, let's continue. Baltimore, surprisingly, number one in the American League, 49 starts, which is around the 50 quality start you need to be in the playoff position, okay?
Now, that's the most shocking because I know before the season we're saying, does Baltimore have the pitching?
Oh, okay. And here's what they're doing. You know, we're just going to get the other thing about. What about your rotation? Now it's coming down to the playoffs. They've got Gibson, that Kramer guy, and Bradish. All three of them guys are at 130 innings, and they're all young horses. They're coming down the track, and their team ERA, which means bullpen is okay, is 4.12.
Yeah.
They got a 4.12, so they're sitting okay. Now let's talk about the team that I'm saying is missing the playoffs. Way back then, when they were throwing it around, they had the greatest start since Babe Ruth and this crew at the turn of the century, whatever. The Tampa Bay Rays, who have got a measly, 39 quality starts.
Yeah.
That puts them in the bottom quarter of the league. Why? Because they wanted to start with a reliever. Then they wanted to go with the 3-time guys and all that bullshit, which tells you it ain't going to make it. Because let's talk about the team that I'm saying right now is winning the World Series, and that's the Atlanta Braves. Okay, they've only got 45 quality starts because it took them a while to get their freaking chi going, and they're missing Fried, who I picked in my fantasy in the first round as a starter, who went down in freaking Now imagine if he was in the rotation because they got Strider, Elder, and the ageless Charlie Morton, and they've got 45 quality starts after that horrendous start they had. But take it one step further. Their team ERA is 3.82.
Well, they're just dominating all facets, though, the Braves.
Well, we'll get to the hitting when we get on there, but I'm just saying they're coming down the track because you know what unbalances your numbers a bit? Is that if you have a horrible start, you got to put tracks on the seasons where you are, which makes Philadelphia Phillies, who I don't have all their numbers here, who are the most resilient team in baseball. Sure. But they're in the middle of the pack and all of that because what I'm saying is at the same time out west, you have LA leading, and LA has only got 42 quality starts. They've got no guys that can say it's in the front of their rotation.
They're surging, though.
But their ERA is at almost 4.5, and it ain't falling. And does that win in the playoffs? I mean, they're going to bat their way to it because I'm saying this.
They might.
That Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman combination. Who's a better combo in baseball than that right now? The couple guys in I can't remember.
Atlanta's got a few guys.
I'm just going to say Atlanta. I'm just going to say they're the only ones that can put it up there. But the two kids in Rushman and the rookie, but he's only a rookie so far in Baltimore.
The Baltimore bats have been
consistent all the way.
Yeah, but not spectacular, which isn't a bad thing. The consistency is obviously a good thing.
Exactly. And their pitching hasn't been spectacular, but it's been good coming enough. Down the runs. You know what I'm saying? In any event, I just had to throw that quality start thing at you because here we are getting towards the end of the season, and guess what? The quality start stats is rearing its ugly head because the teams that are falling behind now is remember they'd give McClanahan, what's his name, the guy that's out on Tampa Bay? Remember early in the season when they were doing all that rotation, well, they had the day off, well, they could throw him in again. So did they wear his arm out? Remember your thing about maybe they're throwing too much and the arms are falling off? I don't know.
But his innings pitched aren't that high.
That's what I'm thinking too. So I don't know where to go.
I don't think it's that.
Because we are going to have a debate. We're going to have to go there about lowering the mound and what they did all these years ago as opposed to now and all those 300 inning guys that we're never going to see as long as again because they're going to save their arms. But here is a weird thing. I still think pitching is winning, don't you?
Well, pitching's always going to be important.
It's number one.
But the bullpens become more and more important. Let's not skirt around that.
Well, that's why I've noticed the anomalies. I'm glad you bring up the bullpen because sometimes when I'm bragging about this quality start thing, then you still look at Tampa Bay's team ERA is still only 3.88. That's one of the best in the majors. That's like top 5 in the majors, so they're going to get there. But
Tampa routinely has one of the best pitching staffs.
Yeah, especially on an ERA. Whatever.
Yes.
But who's at the front of their staff now when they start? That Glasnow guy who just came back or whatever. They got another guy. Forget his name.
Eflin.
Yeah, Eflin. Okay, so if they happen to make the playoffs, who are they going to throw out there right off the bat? Or is it going to be the playoffs now where you're going to, by the third playoff game, everybody's saying, okay, bullpen day?
That might be a bit of a problem now with McClanahan out, right?
Well, I mean, every team. What are the Jays going to do? Because we haven't talked about us. I think we have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. We definitely maybe have the best bullpen in baseball. The problem is it's called consistency, buddy.
Yeah. That's the issue.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before. Bassett can be a bit of a head case. He had a real strong start. Lately, it's been not so much. Gausman, he's generally strong. It's just, that 1 in every 6, 1 in every 7 starts is going to be kind of a mess. Kikichi, I mean, again, just crazy the way he's been going lately. You just love it.
Oh,
and then Barrios, I mean,
solid.
Yeah.
Solid, you know what I mean?
Not spectacular.
But
he's a guy you'd like into your 3 maybe in your playoff rotation.
Okay, so we're going to get away from the fact that I still thought Swanson would be the closer by playoff time. That's not going to happen.
Romano's been too good. He hasn't blown enough saves.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. But then with Hicks to go with him, I think we got the swing and miss thing at the end. But who do we set him up with now? That's what I'm saying. Are we going to define roles? Because guess what? We still have...
I think Hicks would be a good 7th inning guy.
I think maybe 8. Maybe
you'd like him as a setup, like a traditional setup man?
Or you know who I'd like to be the traditional setup man? Is that Cabrera guy.
Okay.
He's been pitching really, really well. But they always bring him in the 5th or 6th inning. He gets 3 or 4 batters out, and he's on his way. Sometimes it's at the end of the order.
That could be his role then.
But that's my point is when this is the problem with the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't think Schneider defines anything and he doesn't instill confidence. So is that my leader I want taking my team into the playoffs?
I mean, isn't that just a lot of baseball too now where it's not just you're the 5th inning guy. Once that comes, you don't have to worry about going to the game anymore. That's very much passé. It's all hands on deck now. Kind of has to be.
Okay, but I'm going to push back on that. I want to go old school. I want to know it's Mariano Rivera, and I want to know Dave Robertson is the guy playing in the 8th inning. There's still something to be said for that.
Closers, like, that's a little bit of a different situation, but I mean, you have to be.
So who sets them up? I'm saying there's different guys on different days, different circumstances according to lineups. Got you.
Swanson and Hicks. I think it's going to work out.
Oh, yeah. Those it's going to be,
7-8. Who's it going to be? Whatever. But, like, it's those two guys in those innings.
But are we going to forget Cabrera either? Are we going to get him out? Because he's actually been one of our better relief pitchers, and his number is verified. Like Jaime Garcia, he's getting some time in there.
Jimmy Garcia.
Whatever his name is.
He's been...
but I think that this is where I contradict myself. It seems to me that Schneider goes back to him because he's trying to show him a little confidence, and then the next game he'll pick a guy out with only 8 outs and take away his confidence. Or what they do with Espinal. I did not agree when he played. Did we get that guy from St. Louis? DeJong. And Espinal stays on the bench. Okay, now Espinal has been.
Either.
I'm saying that what would cure Toronto Blue Jays personally, I would see, is that if a guy like Espinal, Muirfield, or Bijou or somebody just play 50 games at the same spot every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just play the same spot every day, and then we'll have to find out
what's going to happen with this team. We know who's running the show, really, and it's not John Schneider. Let's not pretend.
I didn't say that.
We're
going to go there by the end of the year, by the way, because I'm going to be ripping. Because guess what, people? There's a team called the Seattle Mariners out there. I sincerely believe Houston's going to race away, so that means Texas is not going to go anywhere because they want to stay in the hunt for the playoffs because they don't want to blow it. Seattle's surging. We still got Tampa. Like I'd like to say Tampa Bay is going to go get out of the way. So I'm just saying this: the Toronto Blue Jays can't miss a step. We can't have games like last night at home because one of my other credos was this. 60 on the road, 600 at home, and 500 on the road. We've been horrible at the home sometimes.
I mean, we did the math for that, and it didn't quite add up to winning the division.
Well, it should be close. It should be
No, that's only 89 wins.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to be a little bit better at home, and we're not.
And I'd say even better on the road.
You know what I mean? But it's the road. Don't you think it's the at home that's killed us? And against American League East.
Well, just our in play against the division has been our Achilles heel.
I'd say that too. But anyways, we're going to be taking a closer look like that before we get to Labor Day. You know what I'm saying?
So a few more things about baseball.
Okay.
So Tampa Bay, I really just want to highlight how I was wrong. I don't think this team's going to make the playoffs.
Thank you.
McClanahan being shut down for the season, possibly missing the entirety of next season too.
I feel bad about that because I just saw
one of the best
going,
pitchers in the game.
I feel like that. You know what I'm saying? It kills me.
And then the elephant in the room, the Wander Franco situation. For those of you that don't know, he has been accused of having a relationship with a 14-year-old girl in the Dominican Republic, where the age of consent, I should say, is 18. There's reports now of a 17-year-old saying as well that there was an inappropriate relationship there as well. And there's talk of people in the investigation that he will not play in MLB again. Okay, that's a lot to wrap up in a second here, but let's look at it. The reason we took so long to get here is because here at the House That Happens, we don't want to make anybody guilty before they get to a court of law or whatever the case may be, and he's denial and stuff like this. But these are the accusations, and they have to be taken seriously.
Well, that's why I'm going to go next level. If there is a hint, and eventually it's going to come out, and we're going to find the truth, I see no reason why this guy should ever get a chance to play in Major League Baseball again. What are we talking about here? We're talking about a grown-ass man who's making millions of dollars, can go back to a country that's not necessarily third world, but when you throw your money around, you can get away with things that maybe not everyone can get away with. But when you're getting away or thinking you're getting away with something on that level, I have no time of day for your sorry ass. No time in the major leagues, and if he's wrong, I hope they throw the book at this guy. You know what I mean? Like, what are you thinking? You know?
Yeah, if that is true, it's just disgusting.
Is he in the lineup now? No, right?
No, he is.
What do they call that? Leave of absence, right?
Yeah. He didn't travel to the team San Francisco for like their weekend series. I think he's been absent from the team since then.
I know, and I heard he's still going to get paid. By the end of the season, they're going to get moral turpitude because you know what? It smells. You know what? As more details are coming out, it seems it's getting worse.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean? So like, and I don't know. I have a granddaughter. Come on, guys. Like, this is just insane things that I just don't understand anymore. Every time it comes up, it just irritates the hell out of me. You know what I mean?
Stinks. It just stinks.
You know what I mean?
You want to get to the Baltimore broadcast situation? Go into that quickly?
Yeah, very much so. What was your take on it? I can't believe how the guy was treated.
I can't believe he was suspended for that. I mean, that... Like, was that even that harsh, what he said?
No, he read facts that were
exactly.
on it. He read cold, hard facts.
And it wasn't like, he wasn't throwing anyone under the bus or anything like that.
Didn't slag the team, didn't slag the organization. He said, this is what we've been done about Tampa Bay. And just what happened? They happened to win the series to break that long series that he was talking about, and the man got suspended. I just want to shout out to all the people in the business around the country, including here in Canada, that rallied around this guy who was back to work quicker than ever.
Yep.
He was back to work quicker than ever. And I hope they gave him his money back for the day that he didn't get paid.
I hope so, too.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's just ridiculous. That's just something I'm still going, I don't get it. But, oh, yeah. I'm glad it's over with. You know what I mean?
One more thing I want to bring up. So your classic line this season is how it's going to be a track meet by All-Star break. I think the stolen bases, I think it's going to start to go down to the mean again next year. Because you're looking at the rate that guys are caught stealing, it's not worth it.
Okay, so I'm going to give you
Especially from the Blue Jays' perspective. Because
worst running team in baseball, we'll bring up them. Okay.
Because there's only two guys on the Blue Jays that are stealing bases effectively. It's Kiermaier, who hasn't been caught once, and George Springer, who's stealing at 80%, I believe.
Okay, so let's go back to the real factor here.
And you got to steal at over 70% to be
worth
effective.
it? Yes, okay.
Yes.
So here's what happened. They did try to turn it into a track meet, but these guys realize they're too goddamn slow. So next year they're just going to pick and choose it. Because what's his name on Atlanta? He's pushing numbers that we haven't seen since Ricky Henderson days. So if you got guys that know what they're doing, let them go. It's just what happened is that Guerrero got let go too many times. You know what I mean?
Oh, Guerrero. Merrifield hasn't been great on his
No, he's got nailed that.
And
And I do like that we should be a running team. But, I mean, not just the base stealing, but the running gaps we've had in general have been ridiculous.
Oh, terrible.
But no, I still think it's going to be a track meet. I still think it is. But what I'm going to say is going to piss me off is that they're going to alter this in the playoffs. Just like I told you, they're going to alter the clock. So now they're going to change the structure of the game. It's not like we have a shootout or the stuff they do in the other leagues. They're structurally changing the game for the playoffs, and I don't think that's right.
Like what?
Like they might alter the clock, and they might be able to let you throw 3 times to first base now. You know what I mean? So what you're doing is now you're playing against different rules. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that certainly muddies the waters a little bit. Not a fan of that.
Well, anyways, and speaking of rules, before I get out of here, one of the rules that we have to abide by is during my fantasy football league, someone put forth a proposition that we should have trades of future in our league. And our league is a long time, and I was going to agree with it. So we had a league vote, and it was just about to go through till we realized, wait a second here, that affects the trades that were in the past. So how can we have a rule changing about trades in the middle of the season? So I was the one that made the initial vote to go that way because I said, let's just get the trades on.
Yeah.
Okay, and anyways. So this is where I'm getting at about conclusion. At the end of the show, we'd always like to talk about what is right and what is wrong. And what we've done here is, is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
Well, there's a couple of the hockey
Go
things.
ahead, go ahead. Oh, yes, go ahead before I go there. Then.
So first of all, our condolences to Rodion Amirov, the Maple Leaf prospect, first-round pick, 15th overall in 2020, was diagnosed with a brain tumor, I believe, 2 years ago. And he just passed away, I believe it was on Sunday.
The deepest condolences to him and his family. That's why I stopped, because I noticed out of the corner of my eye. We would have been completely remiss if we did not say, that is so sad, a man so young that had so much promise. God bless him and his family. And if there's, whoever it is, a higher power out there, one day you're going to explain to me why this happens.
And I thought it was a classy move by Kyle Dubas and the Pittsburgh Penguins to also send out their note of remorse.
Because he was involved in drafting him.
He did draft him.
That's what I'm saying. Class move.
Yeah. It's just sad overall. I mean,
Yep.
Such a, I don't know.
Too much sadness in this world today.
21 years old.
Oh.
21.
Killing me.
I can't imagine.
Killing me. God bless his mom and dad.
Yeah, just terrible news. I know you want to bring up McDavid's agent.
Okay, this is what I usually open the show with. And so what I'm saying is that sometimes there's things that happen in sports that I just shake my head at. And I want to know, we know why. But they're going to probably give us some sanctimonious frickin' whatever to justify their idiocy, as I like to say. How did this guy, Jeff Jackson, the agent of Connor McDavid, now become the CEO of the whole goddamn team?
I don't know how that's allowed. The NHL has a bunch of rules like this. Like, how are the Leafs able to hire Brendan Purdom, the man who wrote the salary cap? How is that allowed? NHL, This is why you're a donkey league. You're not a real league. Come on, Cruz. You say it's the NBA. The NHL sucks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, it might be. You got some points here. That's okay. Add that up. That's why I couldn't let it go by. So what is he telling? We a mom and pop store? We just turn the other way? I don't know. I don't think it's a good look. Personally, I don't. Either one of those was never a good look. You know what I mean? No. And who else was? One of the other guys, the Babstock's coach, got in the door doing some stuff in the NHL lately, hasn't he? I heard he's getting a backdoor jump in because of his connection to something.
Babcock's guy.
Babstock's son.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I heard
that's whatever. That's always been a thing. Nepotism.
I guess you could call it that. But in any event, some of these things that go on in the NHL are quite sketchy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Either way you look at it, you're just going to say, really? Is that how we do things in here? I do want to shout out, because we do keep tabs on the Habs, that the New York Rangers are having a little bit of discussion with one of their unrestricted free agencies. So if he
restricted free agent,
yes, and you can't have trades. We talked about this off. So Montreal's door is open. We haven't even mentioned his name yet. You know what I mean? Because you're going, it's never going to happen. So it won't happen. I
don't think New York's going to trade Lafreniere. No. I'd be shocked.
No, I wouldn't either. But I'm just saying the door is wide open, and we want to say.
And I should say there's really 4 big restricted free agents that still don't have a contract going into training camp. So Evan Bouchard in Edmonton, I'd say, is the biggest one. 40 points 2 years in a row now. Had a massive playoff run. I believe he had 17 points in 12 games or something.
Yep.
Absolutely exploded. And then Anaheim's got a pair of restricted free agents, Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale.
Okay, do you think it's like it's weird, because I think that they if I could say this for say something like this, is that sometimes I wish the running backs' contracts were a little bit shorter, because these guys that get them in the NHL, they play maybe another year in junior, then they come up and they play, then they make the team, and then they got to decide what kind of contract they've given them. So sometimes you're not ready. You're not that guy yet. You know what I mean? Is that why these guys? And so sometimes they overpay guys. So now that these guys are getting once bitten, twice shy, because you notice every year more and more of these unrestricted free agents, they take longer to sign them, or to get them to get their name on the paper. Yeah, takes a little bit longer.
I mean, I think the Anaheim guys probably figure it out before the season, or at least some early into training camp. You would hope, because Zegras, it's been 2 years in a row he's put up 60 points. Drysdale, it's a little bit of a different situation. He had a rookie season of 30 points. His plus minus wasn't so good, but a young defenseman on a bad team, that's usually the way it goes. Last year, though, he was only in a limited amount of games, which I think is making the negotiations tricky. I think he got into 8 games or something like that. Not a lot. Bouchard, I think he's kind of I scored 40 twice, had that big playoff run. I'm ready for 60 points. Edmonton's probably we don't see it that way. Yeah, that one could potentially leak into the season.
I think there's another guy that we're missing, but I can't think of what it is right now. But I think there's going to be a few of the guys like that, and I think it's interesting because. Is there anything else that you got before we get near the end of the show?
Well, I just want to quickly say the Jeff Petry got flipped.
I was going to say bye, hello, goodbye. You beat me to it.
Going to where his daddy played baseball, which was probably pretty cool.
And won a World Series in '84 with Jack Morris.
And
I remember those glory days.
So we're in mid-August, and this Hockey Canada report has not been released yet. And I'm a little shocked.
Oh, well, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up. You know why? They're covering up everything and anything and everything. They can.
But I thought this would have been the perfect time.
Oh, because
So
it's slow news time?
when are they waiting for training camp? When like all the hockey media's around again, it could be like a big deal. I thought it was going to be like a midsummer news dump.
I'm thinking it's the opposite. They're going to wait till everything's doing 90 miles an hour so they can throw it out there so you hope they're distracted by the hockey.
I think it's going to have the adverse effect. Because
Really?
you're going to have all the hockey people, and that's like they won't be able to shut up, especially the media up here at Cruise.
I agree.
This is a huge story. This is our government money.
I'm sorry. And what are we talking about? We were talking
People
about
are pissed.
I'm saying that's what I'm talking about when we were talking about the women's Olympic team. Anytime it comes to our money, I'm on board with you there, how this is going to go. But I'm smelling a rat. It should have been out by now. What more do they got to research? What more do they got to do?
Oh, the report's been done. It's been done for months.
Okay, so now that's what I'm saying. So when are you going to release it? I think that there would be too much time on their hands right now. So maybe I don't know. Your point is valid, but I'm saying at the same time, nah, man, they should have been out by now. I smell some kind of like, what are they going to do? Doctor it up? They're going to try to hide something? I don't know.
It should be out any day now. That'd be my thought.
Should have been out already. Here at the House That Happens, we're going to do an investigation.
But Gary Bettman's a scumbag, so
okay,
we know how it works.
He's definitely, he's kind of
something.
Yes, it is. Okay. In any event, I did mention that Jamal Murray has left Team Canada, hasn't I?
You have not.
Oh, I'm not? I'm wondering if that's going to have an adverse effect on our team because this is maybe the strongest team that we have. We open up against Spain, and if we do play in the Olympics next year, Murray's going to play. Now, I'm going to give him this because he had that bad knee injury, and he played very late, and they won the championship, of course. It went out, and I think the team said to him, this is too much stress. However,
I agree.
We got Shea, we got RJ, we got Dylan Brooks. We got a good squad out there, and their motto should be to play defense. So the House That Happened would be remiss again if we didn't say the games start in a few days. Good luck.
Exactly.
Good luck at the Worlds, man. Shout out to our team.
And shout out to a Canadian treasure, tennis player Milos Raonic.
100% glad to see him on the court. I don't think we'll be seeing him on there much more, but he got to the third round.
Good for him.
You know what I mean? He went out with a flash. I think he's outside interest. I heard he's getting married.
Yep.
But Milos, it was nice to see you. Thanks for the run. We appreciate you.
Yeah, he gave us a lot of great memories. Had like one of the meanest serves on the ATP tour. Was ranked as high as number 3, I believe.
If Milos just had a little bit of funk to his game. Because the guy
was a little too nice, yeah.
He needed a little in that footwork ever. I mean, he had the juice. Like, that's no doubt about it. But
like I said, that's
we'll miss him. We'll miss him.
We'll definitely miss him.
That's for damn sure. God bless him on his way out. But as we go, we're getting towards the end here because we're getting a little bit rambly. Is one of the things I want to say, but I'm really glad we did the shout out to the poor young man that we're going to miss. If we had forgotten that, I would have just jumped out of my chair.
I wasn't forgetting that as a Leaf fan.
Thank you very much. But anyways, we've decided as we're going to end the show that the word of the day that we said earlier was called contractitis. And what contractitis to me is, where do you get the loyalty involved when you do sign a contract? Which I briefly alluded to was the fact that in my league, we did something in the middle of a season that would break a contract in our constitution that says you should start from the beginning, don't do through the mid-seasons. The reason that I'm bringing up is you look around the league is that every time that we turn around, what do we get during the season? We always get distracted by what? Contracts. You know what I'm saying? Then it becomes agent. Then we get the James Harden idiocy. Then you get 1 year Ezekiel Elliott's the greatest thing sliced bread. The next thing you know, the guy's getting cut. Then you get a guy like on the Dallas Cowboys. He was supposed to be the greatest O-lineman. He signed the contract 3 years ago. A couple guys got more, and he said, I got contractitis. I want more. Isn't that how it's starting to work?
Well, you think contractitis is silly in those sports. So what about Formula One, where guys are already thinking about next season?
Okay, well that's
in the
all.
Middle of their season.
Okay, but that's okay. That's one. Everything that happens in sports, and then there's Formula One. Okay, let's get it. You've taught me well. Then there's that there. And and then you got to add the politics, the money, the grandeur,
Everything.
the sponsorship, whatever. But I'm just talking about every day. And let's take it down to what's the last thing that we were talking about? Why haven't we heard the report? Because the contracts that were signed, for whatever reason, money didn't get to where it was supposed to go. And some of those people that signed contracts that are no longer working for Canada are going to get away, and we're never going to see them again.
Mm-hmm.
So here at the House That Happens, if we could do anything, we're going to try to do one show where we never have to bring up contracts. We just bring up the competitive spirit of the games that we love to watch. Correct?
Maybe in about 1,000 years, we'll see.
And when we start talking about gambling too, you know what I mean?
Oh, because we've never talked about that once on this show, have we?
Well, we're just going to end it that I'm gambling on the fact that people are talking about the 5 hectares that are just up the road in Etobicoke, and it's going to be the site of the NFL stadium for the new Toronto Argonauts in the NFL.
They're not going to be named the Argos, but you should definitely listen to that episode about whether or not an NFL team is going to come to Toronto.
I want to shout out to Mr. Kevin Pick, the leader of commissioner of our team, for listening to The House That Happens. And I know you guys on the chat site, y'all listening now and again. BOH, thanks for doing it. We appreciate it immensely, so that you'll know that, hey, we're trying to be as fair as we can be at The House That Happens, correct?
That is 100% correct.
Glad you had a great trip to Mexico. I'm about to take my ass up to Gravenhurst for decompression. I'm going to be talking to just the trees. I'm going to give humans a break, buddy.
Yeah, and I should say we're recording on a Thursday night, even though you're getting this at regular time.
Yes, it is. And I want to say that that was very cool that you got the show off. You planned it from Mexico, and things went down just the way that we planned.
Oh, just the way you know it would.
Glad you got back safe and sound. It was all good.
I'm glad I'm alive, too.
And we're going to get out of here right now. And once again, we'd like to say thanks for listening. We appreciate it immensely. My name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And remember, at The House That Happens, we do one thing, and that is we keep the vibe alive.
You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.